Hey, and we're live. It's the motherfucking Dougherty show, baby. And today, the Colts have a motherfucking quarterback at helm. We'll talk about that later on the show. This is a fucking loaded show we're about to have. I'm glad that everyone's been watching. We've been having some killer views. I appreciate literally all the support. Me and Denny both. Like, we've literally gone from the show, like literally no one listening to it, to maybe 3 listeners. Now we have like 86 listeners. We have a whole lot more subscribers than we're used to. And we just want to say that we're grateful and we appreciate you guys listening to our fucking show.
And sky's the limit for us. We're going to keep on going up into new and great levels.
And we also have a new sponsor. But before we get to that, I just want to let you guys know what you should do. You should subscribe below. Yeah, down there, guys. Right down there. Also, be sure to hit that like button. Give your boy a like. And that's another thing. We actually getting a lot more likes than we're used to as well. So we do appreciate that, guys. But as far as our sponsor goes, we have a friend who's over in Florida who's trying to get their business running up from off the ground. So we're going to give them some support because they've been giving us some support and viewers over in the Florida area. Her name is Jessica or Jess, and this is her business.
In the mirror, I saw him. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And so that's pretty cool. And not only that, this is her Instagram page. If you guys want to follow her, that is _Messy_Jesse_R. And that's _MESSY_JESSYS_ART. And this is just some of the artwork that she has. If you guys want to go ahead and check that out, she'd deeply appreciate that, guys. Thank you, and we'll get started with the show. All right. So, Danny, how's it been, bro?
It's been good. I've been reading the Batman saga, A Twilight Story. I'm just kidding.
Hey, that was a good show yesterday.
Yes, it was. I just had to put a little joke in there just for yesterday's show.
You were pretty good yesterday.
Playing some Elden Ring. I recommend it all to PlayStation 4, 5, and Xbox users, and even PC users. It's really fun game. But just been gaming today, just taking a chill day kind of thing. How about you, Derek?
I just got that game too myself. I haven't had a chance to play. I got it a couple of days ago, but I am ready when I do get to play. I know it's a really tough game, but I'll get into it. I usually like challenging games where I can cuss and like, what the fuck do I need to do? Where do I go?
You have no idea. Just times I've been wanting to install that game because I've been so.
I'll be fucking throwing my controller at the TV. Yeah. But man, we have a loaded show today. We have a lot to talk about, as you guys can see down there at the bottom. Well, I guess we'll start it off right off the bat, man. Von Miller to the Bills. He decided not to go to the Rams. Man, to the Bills, their defense, it's loaded now. Like, if it wasn't loaded before, it is now, and you have a healthy, athletic Von Miller to add to the bunch. I feel like the Patriots, Miami Dolphins, who else is in that division?
The Jets, but
they're never relevant. That's why I never really realized who it is. But they're fucked, man. They hate that shit, man. I mean, if their division needed to get tough, it just got a whole lot tougher. And I don't know if anyone realizes or pays attention to the sports betting, but the line moved as soon as they signed him. So just says how much of a good player that he is. What's your thoughts on that?
I think the Bills needed more of a pass rush. Don't get me wrong. They had a top 5 defense last year, really good. But I don't feel like in key moments they're getting enough pressure. When push comes to shove, they didn't have that difference playmaker.
Need that one guy to change it, yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't work for him because he's old. Can he be an every down player anymore? That's yet to be seen. It looks good on paper. We'll leave it at that. But like the Rams hit it down when they had a loaded defense themselves with younger players, mind you. So I mean, we gotta see how that transitions. I really thought he was going to go back to Denver from all the things he was posting on Instagram. But I'm not going to hate on Von Miller. He's a future Hall of Famer. I hope he succeeds with the Bills. I like the Bills. I think they've been shafted 2 years in a row in the playoffs. I'd really like to see them make some noise. And I'm not ever going to say this again just because I'm a Patriots fan. That won't ever come out of my mouth again. But they're due. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing for him. I think that he can still do it all, man. I think he has plenty left in the tank. As far as how long that they sign him for, that is yet to be seen. As far as other players go, your boy Allen Robinson has left the Bears, and he's now on the Rams. So it's like I feel like that was a player that they definitely needed since they got rid of Robert Woods. That's another thing that I'll let you guys see a little bit later on today. Robert Woods got traded for a 6th-round pick in 2023 to the Titans. So now Robert Woods is on the Titans, and Allen Robinson's signed with the Rams to fill that void. How do you feel about those two things?
I look at it like this, okay? Robert Woods, phenomenal player. Him and Matthew Stafford didn't kind of get a repertoire together a little bit, so they weren't really like connecting. Maybe Allen Robinson will connect along with Cooper Kupp. However, I think they should have got more out of him, but he's off an injury. Maybe they know a little bit more about the injury, and he was having a couple of setbacks that we know of, and that's why they settled for a 6th-round pick. Maybe the Titans believe that they have their actually number 2 receiver now. I'm not going to be sending Julio Jones. That's just old now. So maybe Robert Woods will come back and play well for them, which I think he will. So I like the moves on both ends. We'll see how it pans out. I do like Allen Robinson as a Ram, though. I think it's going to help Matt Stafford a lot.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to help Matt Stafford tremendously because not only does he have Cooper Kupp, who got 100 receptions last year, but I think everyone forgets that Allen Robinson was just removed from a 100 reception year not too long ago as well. And I think that was 2 years ago, and that was with Mitchell Trubisky. So I feel like them two are just going to make that offense so much more better because Allen Robinson doesn't have to be the number 1 guy anymore. That's Cooper Kupp. He's a stud. As far as Robert Woods on the Titans, I feel like once he comes back healthy, that's definitely just going to complement A.J. Brown, and that's going to make it tough for everybody else in that division as well because now you have to account for both of those and Derrick Henry. Just opens up the field a little bit more for A.J. Brown, so that way he's not having double coverage over on his way. They can spread some more coverage over his way. But as far as for a 6th-rounder, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just because of that injury. I don't know. I just feel like he wasn't worth just the 6th-rounder. But
I think it was 4th or 3rd. That's just my opinion personally. But injuries, though, what did the Rams know? What did the Titans know when they were making that trade? They had their medical personnel. Is he having setbacks? What point of the season is he going to be back? I mean, there's so many different factors. What's his contract like? I mean, what's his age? I mean, so many different factors when it comes to that. I'm not a GM, but if I was a GM, I'd look into those things before I made a trade like that personally. So it makes sense. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Titans took up the rest of the contract, and then all they would have to do is give a 6th-round pick. I mean, it works for both teams.
True. I think so. Some other crazy things that have been happening in the NFL is the Bengals have been making moves lately. Not only do they have Hayden Hurst as their new tight end because old boy left last week, but they also got La'el Collins, man. It's going to shore up the offensive line because they definitely need it because, Joe Burrow got sacked so much in the playoffs once he started going against some really good defensive men. And obviously you need to protect your quarterback. You don't want the health of him to, dissipate. Next thing you know, you don't have a quarterback playing for you anymore. You got to wait until next season when he gets healthy again. Like,
they made they made the Super Bowl this year. And last year they had problems with the offensive line. He tears his ACL. They make the Super Bowl. They didn't do anything in the offseason to fix the offensive line. Now they want to do it. I have issues there because they were a couple plays away from winning the Super Bowl. And all they needed was an offensive line. That's just bad coaching right there. That's bad management right there. And now you want to do it after you lose the Super Bowl?
That's because they figured it out now. They're probably like, oh, damn, we could have won if we had an offensive line, but we didn't. It's kind of like the Andrew Luck thing. I just don't hope he doesn't retire like Andrew Luck where, they just constantly ignore that position. But it doesn't look like they're ignoring it. They're definitely not following the footsteps of the Colts. But Hayden Hurst is definitely a solid player too. He's really good at blocking, and he's definitely always, getting open in the field. I feel like he's going to be a very good complement to people who would get him in fantasy football this year. Because you got Joe Burrow throwing the ball to you instead of Lamar Jackson. So I'm just saying, I feel, and not only that, Matt Ryan, he was on the Falcons last year, I think.
Hayden Hurst,
or was he on the Ravens?
He was on the Ravens first, and he went to the Falcons.
Okay. So, yeah, like I feel like having Joe Burrow, younger guy, always slinging the ball, man. Like they throw it a lot. So I definitely think that's going to help Hayden Hurst for sure. His stock is definitely on the rise. Some other bangers that have been happening in the NFL. Devonte Adams to the Raiders for, I believe it was 3 first-round picks, a third-rounder, and I think they're swapping a fourth for a fifth. And Aaron Rodgers already knew about it, he said. He said that he kind of already knew it was a done deal just because he ignored the franchise tag. He said he didn't want to be tagged on the franchise tag. He's like, I'm not having it. Pay me or, release me. And I think that they didn't want that. They didn't want it to drag out. I think right now, them trading for, some extra picks. Now they have some for this draft, and they can build on that instead of having it drag out all summer and then nothing ever getting done and them end up trading them then. It creates a lot of distraction, and I feel like it's a lot better for both sides. A lot of people are like, oh my God, Devonte Adams getting traded. Why would they trade their best wide receiver? Yada, yada, yada. I'm like, well, I mean, they could have kept him. They offered him more than the Raiders. But it was Devonte Adams' dream to go to the Raiders. He's always been a Raiders fan. And then, like you told me earlier this week, he was Derek Carr's college roommate. So, he's got the familiarity with them already. So I feel like they're just going to mesh well, and it's going to do great. Some other things that the Raiders are doing, I'll let you add into that in a second, is they added a couple other players. Let's see. Who did they add? I want to say it was DeMarcus Robinson. So not only do they have DeMarcus Robinson, Devonte Adams, they got Josh Jacobs in the backfield. Derek Carr's throwing the ball. You got Hunter Renfrow over there and Darren Waller. That offense is loaded and ready to compete. And I know they have a tough division. They're loaded. I think Josh McDaniels, he learned from his mistakes, and he's like, I'm ready. Let's go. Thoughts on it, bro?
I like the moves. I mean, you get someone familiar with Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, and vice versa. They played with each other in college. I think it's a good move. Derek Carr had a lot of career years in college with Devontae Adams. I think they're not going to miss a beat. As you said, it was a win-win for both sides. It's only a win for both sides as long as the Packers don't fuck it up and draft quarterbacks or draft useless positions that don't help them. I mean, you're in a win-now kind of mode. You draft a quarterback in the first round that doesn't look like first-round talent or successor to Aaron Rodgers. That's a wasted pick. Now, mind you, a couple years back when they drafted Love, they should have went by Rodgers with it and drafted a receiver. And now losing Devontae Adams is kind of huge. What do they really have? How's that team going to pan out? I think it could be a more run-oriented team. Yet to be seen. Raiders, though, I feel like they won that trade. I mean, you get your number one receiver. They messed up with the Henry Ruggs trade, not just because of the DUI, just because he was never going to. I don't want to sound like a dick, but he never looked like he was going to pan out as a wide receiver in the NFL. More like a third or fourth string receiver. That's how he looked like when he played. It was just fast. That's how I looked at it, like, to me personally. However, I think they got their number one receiver. They got another third receiver or second receiver, depending on how you look at Robinson, Henry Renfrow, and you forgot about Darren Waller. That's scary.
I didn't forget about him.
I forgot about him. He was injured all last year on our fantasy team. That's why I forgot about him. But
I don't feel like either side lost on the trade. I feel like they both did pretty solid. Just because they're getting 3 first-round picks, that means you have 3 potential hits that you can try and get to replace him. And they have a first-round pick in this year's draft that they can, 2 of them actually now. And this is a loaded wide receiver class. I mean, loaded wide receiver class. So they can just draft 2 wide receivers in this draft if they want to. Boom. They already have 2 replacements to replace up. I mean, granted, it is Devonte Adams. He's one of the best route runners and best wide receivers in the NFL. Definitely top 3 for sure. And it's really hard to replicate. But, I mean, if you get 2 or 3 guys, I mean, they can always pick up that production. And maybe that might help Aaron Rodgers. You won't be forcing balls to, Devonte Adams downfield. He'll just throw it to whoever's open.
yeah.
But yeah, it's been pretty crazy for them. They've been doing a lot this offseason. So it feels like the whole AFC has just gotten a whole lot stronger, and it kind of pisses me off.
And like the Colts.
Yeah, they've been kind of quiet, man, but we'll talk about them a little bit later today. Some crazy shit that just happened a couple of days ago was Deshaun Watson. He signed with the Browns. He got traded with them. So everyone thought that maybe Baker Mayfield might get traded to the Texans and Deshaun Watson would go to the Browns. And then this roller coaster happened. Browns were out of it. They didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And now it was up to the Saints and the Falcons and the Panthers. Panthers were like, I'm out of it too. Okay. So now it's just the Saints and the Falcons. And then the Falcons were pushing real hard. They even told Matt Ryan, like, yo, we're not going to give you your roster bonus until Tuesday because we want to see what happens with Deshaun Watson. He's like, all right, whatever, man. We'll see how it goes. And then out of nowhere, boom, Deshaun Watson's going to the Cleveland Browns. And I know that just created so much turmoil with Baker Mayfield because before he got traded, Baker Mayfield was asking for a trade. He put out a tweet talking about how he's upset with the organization. He doesn't know how his future is going to go and all this stuff. And it's pretty crazy now because now Deshaun Watson signed and there's a bunch of other players that signed to other teams. Like there's not really very many options left for Baker. So in my opinion, I think he stays with the team. But we shall see because I don't think anyone's going to trade for him because they're asking for like first or second round picks, which is ridiculous. I think they might have to do what the Texans did a couple of years ago with Brock Osweiler, where they trade him and add a pick to it. Yeah, Cleveland Browns, they got Deshaun Watson now, and that just skyrockets Amari Cooper's value. So he was not looking hot. Now I think I like him.
I don't think Baker Mayfield's first round talent.
Me neither.
I don't think he's that good. I think he's just was really good in college because he had good people around him.
Also, I wanted to add something to the previous thing. Devonte Adams is also the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL now, just so everyone's aware about that.
$28 million a year.
Yep. Now we're back to Deshaun Watson though. But yeah, like it's literally crazy. I mean, there's already people coming out that are saying that they don't want to be Browns fans anymore because of all the 22 allegations that Deshaun Watson has. They're not fans anymore. They're like, fuck this. You're gonna bring in this guy who's got all these sexual assaults. I'm out of here, man. Got a couple people who said, hey, man, we'll join your team. We'll be a fan of you. And those guys are like, oh, we'll welcome you with open arms. Come on over to us. I saw some funny shit earlier today. I'm going to share it with you right now. I don't know if it's true or not, but it was on NFL memes page, but I just had to crack up. Steve Smith said on NFL Network, I get where Baker is coming from because I wear my emotions on my sleeve, but at least I've led the league in something other than crying. That shit had me dying. Then Skip Bayless said this. I'm like, damn, why is everyone roasting him, man? He said, here's the irony. The Browns wanted an adult quarterback, so they acquire a new face of their franchise who faces 22 civil suits from women accusing him of everything from sexual misconduct to sexual assault. Thought that was intriguing to see too as well. Like, shedding some light on something when you're asking for an adult quarterback. Because we said that last week on the show that the Browns are looking for an adult quarterback. That would piss me off, man. Like, I feel kind of bad for Baker. He's just stuck in a shitty spot right now. Nobody wants him. He's coming off a shoulder surgery, or not shoulder surgery, shoulder injury. He might have got a surgery. I don't know. But everyone just like dogging him. Don't think he's good. I mean, he's average in my opinion, but I think he's still like a starter in the NFL for like some crappy team that doesn't have a player at the moment. But I feel bad, man. What's your thoughts on the whole Deshaun Watson trade and Baker being stuck where he's stuck?
I think the Browns upgraded into Deshaun Watson, even though I think he's a piece of shit. Secondly, I think Baker Mayfield's not worth a first-round pick or a second-round pick. If we want to trade him, give him a third-round pick for him, but you also got to give the team a fourth-round pick back, which I think is fair.
I agree, man.
Also, I think Baker Mayfield got shitted on. However, he's not a good leader. He has a bad attitude. He's really good at those commercials. That's about it.
Funny commercials, yeah. He just has like, he's really immature. I mean, like, I saw that post he put on Twitter. I'm like, dude, Tom Brady never did that. Aaron Rodgers never did that. Matt Ryan didn't do that. I can keep going on all the players or quarterbacks who having complained about the shitty situations that they're in and for him to come out there and kind of not bash the Cleveland Browns, but like say, "Oh, I'm uncertain on my future" and all that stuff, like that didn't even need to be said, man. He could have kept quiet about all that and just take it as it is, and go from there. And then demanding a trade, you have no leverage. Like you had no leverage. You're not that talented. You're not a Deshaun Watson or an Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson, man. Like you're not an elite talent. So I feel like him demanding a trade, he had no it wasn't a good spot for him, man.
And it wasn't. I mean, it's just not good. Like when he plays, almost like he throws like one touchdown a game.
Pretty much. I mean, he's had some good games. He gets good here and there and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I just feel like we can see on he's been on the Browns forever, but it's also Deshaun Watson. He's on the fucking Texans now. He's great. You're not playing like Deshaun Watson over here.
Texans were kind of good though.
Their defense was good for a while when they had J.J. Watt, but ever since J.J. Watt left, I don't think their defense has been that great. And
they had Deshaun, and then they had fucking DeAndre Hopkins.
That's true. And what I find weird though is that they didn't Texans didn't take Baker like they could have, but they're like, nah, we're gonna build around Davis Mills. So I think they have a little bit more belief in him. Either that, or they might plan on drafting another quarterback in this year's draft or in future drafts. Some other crazy stuff that's been going on in the NFL. We got OT, Taran Armstead. He signed a 5-year deal to Miami, $87.5 million. So Miami shores up that offensive line, and they're looking pretty good now. They got Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert. They just got that offensive line hooked up for Tua. I mean, it's looking pretty good. They got some pretty good signings over there. So Miami might be a little different and a little competitive over there for you Patriots fans. And then Zadarius Smith, he's going to the Vikings on a 3-year deal, worth up to $47 million. I know Michael Dwyer will like that. He's a big Vikings fan. Yeah, that's definitely going to help their defense tremendously because they definitely needed some help in the linebacking core last year. That is
help everywhere in the team last year.
You said what?
They needed help everywhere in the team last year.
Well, not the quarterback position, but
he's got Gary.
The running back position, I don't think they need help with there either because Alexander Madison and Dalvin Cook were doing pretty solid throughout the year.
Yeah,
what's your thoughts on those two signings?
When one's injured, the other plays, and the other's injured, the other one plays. It's a perfect situation.
What's your thoughts on the Armstead signing in Miami and the Zadarius Smith signing over in the Vikings?
He's been injury prone, the tackle. I think it's a good move by Miami. They didn't really have a good offensive line. I was a little disappointed because Smith from the Buccaneers sucks at left tackle, and I would have loved for him to come to the Buccaneers, or the New England Buccaneers, as I like to call them. However, that's fine. We got Julian Edelman coming next, so it's not a big deal. Even though he's not a left tackle, but the more receivers we have, the better. It's not bad. It's good for the Dolphins. They have a running quarterback. I want to be able to give him more time in the pocket because he's not gonna be a good pocket passer, obviously. So give him much time as possible with the left tackle, Tua, whatever his name is. Give him some time, let him throw. He'll be good to go. But yeah, it's not a bad move. It's a decent move.
I wanted him on my team. I was talking to my buddy Nick about it earlier. I was like, man, I really hope Armstead comes to us and all this. And then just Chris Ballard was on the Pat McAfee show today. We'll talk about him later today, but he crushed my dreams. He was like, yeah, we like Matt Pryor, man. We signed him. He did pretty solid last year. And so we're going to give him a shot at it. I'm like, you fucking bitch. I wanted Armstead. But hey, man, Matt Pryor did pretty well last year. So I kind of respect that. Find the guy who's a little bit cheaper and who still did pretty excellent. He really did well. A lot better than Eric Fisher did last year, that's for sure. And that's not a knock on Eric Fisher. He's an exceptional player, but Matt Pryor did ball out. So I respect it, but I'm like, I wanted Armstead. But, you can't get everybody. And I'm sure there's smarter people out there than I am. I mean, there's probably a reason why they didn't do that. In other news, the Chiefs got loaded too. They signed Juju Smith-Schuster to a 1-year deal, like a 1-year prove-it deal. It's $10.75 million. Thoughts on that?
I like it. It's gonna help the Chiefs a lot on offense. He's fast. Doesn't get really a big frame to him though, but like the rest of their team, Travis Kelce,
Tyreek Hill,
they're all fast. So I mean, breakaway speed.
Juju.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna work out for them.
It's definitely helping their offense, that's for sure. Gives Patrick Mahomes another weapon. For the Bears, they always give them these questionable things because they just lost Allen Robinson, and their answer to that was to sign Brian Pringle from the Chiefs. Like, he's a fast player, so I mean, I feel like they might be drafting some wide receivers this year too as well. The Bears are, because I don't see an answer on their team currently. Mooney's all right, but yeah. What are your thoughts on Brian Pringle going to the Bears?
Well, I was so excited about the move. I actually had a can of Pringles. It is fucking delicious. It was a delicious move on their part. And mind you,
delicious move.
Mind you, they don't have a lot of wide receiver options, but he's fast. What do the Bears like to do? They either like to run it down the middle or throw down deep.
Yeah, but
screen pass.
You need some players that Justin Field can throw to. Like, if you just bombing them on the downfield, they're just going to roll coverage deep, so that way you don't throw the ball deep. And then all you're going to do is throw it underneath.
Bears can get a first-round draft pick next year in like the top 10. Just throw it deep every play. See what happens.
That's what you do when you play Madden.
Life's the garden. Dig it. Dig it. I dig it.
Some other crazy shit. Some reports are going out. Randy Gregory apparently says that the Cowboys fan base is toxic and Jerry Jones acted in bad faith during their contract talks. And I feel like that's going to happen a lot with these players. I feel like these players are starting to get smarter, and they're like, wait a minute, let me read this shit. Oh, wait a minute. This says this? Nah, fuck that. I'm out. Because there's a big difference between the NFL and Major League Baseball and NBA. NBA and Major League Baseball, all their contracts are pretty much guaranteed. With the NFL, it is not even close. So I feel like we might start gearing towards that nowadays. And I feel like players are going to start paying attention. They're like, you know what? Why the fuck would I sign with you if you're like, say, like right now, oh, I'm only going to pay you $10 million now. You can get $40 million later on in these third years. But I have the possibility of cutting you, so technically don't have to pay you that $40 million. That's annoying when somebody else is like, here, I'll give you $40 million now, and then 3 years I'll give you another $10 million, and then, if you're not doing good, then I'll cut you. But thoughts on that? And on the Cowboys fan base being toxic, because it definitely is.
I mean, why haven't they won a Super Bowl in forever? I mean, they're supposedly America's team, right? Yeah.
Supposedly. I don't know who the fuck gave them that title.
Yeah,
they haven't been America's team in a long time.
I think I was Vipers when they're America's team, supposedly. But, that's just bad. That just comes to the owner trying to be the GM. You know what I mean? That doesn't work no more. Like, the reason it worked back then for them because they had a head coach that didn't put up with any bullshit. They would go, and it wasn't it was toxic back then too. They were going back and forth bickering, but they won because at the end of the day, the head coach won. You know what I mean? Now you get these pushovers that head coaches and whatnot, whether it's Garrett, whether it's McCarthy. Yeah, I'll listen to you. I'll do whatever you tell me to draft or pick up. I'll sign these people to mega contracts, even though they probably would not even get a mega contract somewhere else. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm like, it's just bad for the team. I mean, if Dak Prescott was smart, he would leave that organization and go somewhere else.
And then everybody would roast him and hate him because it'd be unheard of. Like, why are you leaving us? Yeah, I definitely feel like the Cowboys fan base is toxic. They talk so much shit. Out of all people I've ever met, Cowboys fans literally talk the most shit. Besides Miami Dolphins fans, but
sometimes they go 8-8 in the playoffs. I mean, 8-8 in the regular season, and
they lose first round of the playoffs every time.
Yeah, they barely make the playoffs, and they get in, and they barely win, or they barely lose, or they lose by a lot, or win by enough, and they get knocked out the next round.
And then they'll blame it on Dak Prescott and say that he's a garbage quarterback and that he's not good, even though his quarterback rating is fucking exceptional every fucking year. He does everything for that organization. I really like him as a person and as a player. And I got a chance to see him on a Hard Knocks. It really showed, like Hard Knocks really shows, who some of these players are. So I love that show. Moving on from that, some funny shit I heard earlier today. You were laughing about it too, but Urban Meyer. Who's Aaron Donald is what he said. Who's this 99 guy that we have to go up against this week? Either he was trolling, bro, or he's just an idiot.
Pick me, pick me, pick me. I know. I'm the head coach of the Jaguars. Who's 99? I don't know.
Like, he has to be trolling. Is he trolling, dude? Like, how do you not know who the best player in the NFL pretty much is? Like,
that's why you're not a head coach. Obviously.
I'm the best player on that fucking team, dude. Like, and you're a head coach in the NFL. Like, shouldn't you know who some of the talented stars are? Like, he literally gets more money than probably the entire team that he's coaching or was coaching. Like, that just shows how toxic that organization was during the time that he was there. It shows the incompetence of Urban Meyer. Like, if he ever speaks on the NFL again, like, you can't take him serious. You can't. He has no credibility in that anymore. And it's like, you just did everything. You're kicking players. You're fingering girls' buttholes on dance floors and shit like that. Oh, by the way, the Chop House is no more. They got rid of the Chop House, I think, over in Ohio. I think they're changing the name or doing something different or whatever. So thoughts on him not knowing who the fuck Aaron Donald is. And he also said like Deebo Samuel too and some other players. I'm like,
well, that's the reason why it was his last time ever coaching ever again. You know what I mean? He's just not a good coach.
Shouldn't even have been coaching in the first place. Like, he should have just never accepted that job. If he'd never accepted that job, everyone would just speculate whether he'd be good in the NFL or not. But nah, he would never be back in the NFL. That dude is.
I'm glad he did because it showed all his character issues. It showed everything that was wrong with him.
And you know what? That probably just proves everything that was right about him over the years. All the fucking scandals in fucking Florida, the scandals in fucking Ohio State when he was our head coach. Like, yeah, you knew about this shit, bro, and you let shit slide. You don't give a fuck. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about anybody but himself. I think he's a selfish little asshole. And the fact that he literally doesn't know who Aaron Donald is just fucking baffles me and just shows how much of like how he just doesn't pay attention in the NFL and how he really didn't take that job seriously. Some other signings we've had today. Let's see. We have Jamison Crowder went to the Bills, so he's pretty much replacing Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley was definitely a good gadget player for the Bills. I feel like they utilize him really, really well, and I feel like Jamison Crowder just fits that bill too as well, and then got him a little bit cheaper. So I really like that signing. Who else we got? Leonard Fournette staying with Tampa, and then so here's the quarterback carousel. Marcus Mariota signed with the Falcons immediately after the Falcons traded Matt Ryan to the Colts. I'm super happy about it. Everyone's asked, like, you think you're going to the Super Bowl and shit? No, I mean, I don't think. Like, I would like to go to the Super Bowl. Realistically, I just think that we might win our division and go to the playoffs. That's my realistic thinking on it. We shall see. You know, everyone's always saying that I'm saying that we're going to go to the Super Bowl every year or the AFC Championship.
Sound like
What?
Sound like a Bears fan.
Well, no, I mean, that's just if I would thought I was shit every single year. You know, like we have a good quarterback now. Matt Ryan's the real deal. I saw his press conference today. It's a whole lot different than what Carson Wentz's press conference was. He seems like he's super confident. Whenever you watched Carson Wentz last year and watched him on like joining the Pat McAfee show, going on and doing his press conferences, whenever he was talking, like in the very beginning of the year, I don't know if anyone remembers, but everyone thought he was broken. So he had to answer a lot of questions about him being broken, and he's pretty much like, I guess you'll have to see and watch me throughout the year and all this. It just, the narrative at the time was Carson Wentz is broken. Can Frank Reich put him back together? This year, whole lot different. Matt Ryan, hey, welcome to the team. He's going to help us tremendously. We don't hear like, hey, are you broken, Matt Ryan? No, we don't hear any of that. We just know we have a game manager who doesn't have to put it all on his shoulders. Just hand fucking ball off to fucking Jonathan Taylor. Just give the JT right behind you. Boom. Pass it off to him. I was listening to Chris Ballard today. Chris Ballard had some stuff that he had to say. He had a press conference kind of with Pat McAfee where he was on there, said a few things. They asked him about the Deshaun Watson. If he asked if he could trade for him, he said Deshaun Watson is on the Browns, so I'm not going to answer that question. Which makes me think, yeah, you hit up the fucking Texans and asked if he was available. They said that pretty much Matt Ryan was their guy the whole time. They kind of knew since Saturday. Saturday they met with them. Both Matt Ryan and Chris Ballard and all of them seemed to like it, and they meshed really well, and they wanted to go from there. And they were just really hoping that they're going to get Deshaun Watson, but that fell through. And I guess Chris Ballard stuck at it, and he traded him for a fucking third rounder. Got a third rounder on him. They pick up the entire dead cap of $45 million. And he just has to sign a signing bonus with us for $7.5 million, and we just pay him his regular salary. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Wait, you don't take the $45 million cap hit?
Nope. Yep, they took that shit, bro.
Well, they're taking it, though. Was he really worth a third rounder, though, at this stage of his career?
I don't give a fuck. It's a third rounder. That's all we gave up to get a quarterback. It's literally the third rounder that we got from the fucking Eagles just now. So pretty much we just got a second, or I think 2 third rounders. One could potentially be a second one. And we traded 1 third rounder to them. So we got more from the Commanders, and we just used that to get a new quarterback. So it's like we didn't lose anything. If you had started with Carson Wentz, we didn't have those 2 third-round picks, but we got those 2 third-round picks and give one up just to get a new quarterback. I thought that was a brilliant trade. This dude is a master trade negotiator. Honestly, if Chris Ballard calls you, just know you're going to get fucked. He's going to find some way to finesse you out of whatever he wants out of you, man. He's just really good at that shit, man. I give him mad respect for that stuff. But your thoughts on Matt Ryan coming to the Colts and Marcus Mariota starting on a 2-year deal with the Falcons?
I think it's good for Marcus Mariota because then he can get the chance to prove if he's still starting in this league or not, even though the team's going to be shit. We're going to see what he might not have a good year, but it's not about the year he has. Let's see how he performs. Let's see in certain game situations how he plays. So I think it's good for Marcus Mariota to revive his career a little bit. Matt Ryan, I think this is his last chance to win a Super Bowl. I like the move. Let's see what happens in this year's Super Bowl when it's 28-3. When they're beating the Bucs 28-3 and Tom Brady comes back again. So
imagine how funny would it be if it's the Colts versus the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl? What if Matt Ryan this time he's down 28-3 and comes back and wins against Tom Brady?
I won't talk shit because you know what? If you come back and win 28-3 and you win the Super Bowl, you deserve it.
That'd be one hell of a.
Won't talk shit. You deserve it.
Dude, my cousin keeps talking shit right now. He's talking about how Matt Ryan is garbage. He sent me a stat today. He's like, hey, man, I don't know if you know this stat, but Matt Ryan's thrown 5 interceptions and no interceptions in a game before? That hasn't happened since 1966. There's only one other quarterback to do it. I was like, oh, that's cool. Did you know Tom Brady threw 4 interceptions 6 times in a game in his career? And one of them, he didn't have any interceptions or any touchdowns in? Yeah, I know that because it was against my fucking Colts, bitch. What do you got to say? He had a bad game. Who gives a fuck? Quarterbacks have bad games.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, okay.
One time, a couple years back, Tom Brady threw 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions against the Bills.
Yeah, I've seen that happen too. Mm-hmm. I mean, Peyton Manning, he's a fucking goat. He threw 6 interceptions in a game before. I mean, that's more than fucking Matt Ryan. So what the fuck, bro? You know?
Hey, we had Matt Ryan last year on our fantasy team. He was solid some games.
He was really solid some games. And that was until Calvin Ridley's like, you know what?
Better.
I'm going to check out. You said what? Yeah, I think he'll be a lot better now. The thing is, though, we need to get him some weapons. Yeah, he's got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield and Naeem Hines to throw to, but all he has is Michael Pittman to throw to and Strahan. Patman's not scaring anybody. No offense, Patman. I like you, but we need a stud. We need someone who's like, oh fuck, we need to roll some coverage over that way because He's gonna burn us. OBJ liked our I think it was Colts like they shared like Matt Ryan trade or something like that, and OBJ liked it and tweeted out, said that it was a good move. So hey, OBJ, if you wanted to come to the Colts, man, we'll welcome you with open arms. You know, and that was some other things that Pat McAfee said to Chris Ballard. He right at the end of the show, he just named a bunch of players. He had like Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham. He just started naming a bunch of players that he should sign. But it sounds like he didn't answer whether he'd sign anyone in free agency. But if I had to guess, he's probably going to draft some wide receivers in this draft and just keep the ones we have on the team, which just sign like a fucking veteran like Marquez Valdez-Scantling or I don't know, Jarvis Landry, just someone like a proven veteran. You can sign him for cheap. You don't have to sign him for a bunch of money or anything, I don't know. Just yeah. But we still have a stacked defense. I feel like we have a way better defense than Atlanta's ever had. So, and we have a way better running core than Atlanta's ever had. That's not a knock to Devonte Freeman or Steven Jackson, but Jonathan Taylor's a motherfucking dog. Like he really is. So I think it's really good for our team. I think that at least we can make the playoffs, man. We're not going to lose in Clown Town to the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars in the last game of the year, even though we know that they're dog shit. And we're in a soft division. I mean, the only people we're probably going to have to compete against this year is probably the Titans. Maybe the Jaguars if they do anything, but I fucking doubt it. In other news, Bill Belichick, that man, he seems to like not need an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator. He doesn't want one, and I don't get that. He's like, you know what? I can do this shit myself. Fuck that shit. I don't want to pay nobody. I'll take both of them. Just up my salary, Robert Kraft. So what's your Patriots doing? Are they going to sign anybody, or are they just going to say fuck it and they're going to wing it?
You never know with them. They change personnel-wise on a year-to-year basis. Offenses, defenses are very innovative. They're some of the best in the league at doing it. I remember in 2011 during the lockouts, Bill Belichick goes to Tom Brady, like, we're switching everything this year. And Tom Brady's like, wait, what do you mean? We're going a straight hybrid offense. What do you mean? I'm like, straight no huddle, 2 tight ends, boom, boom, boom. Everyone's going to be so out of shape, not practicing. We're going to go fast and pace and keep them going so they just get to the point that they're so exhausted. So when I reference that, I kind of look at that. Bill Belichick's a mastermind when it comes to stuff like that. So, like...
He really is, man. He surprises me all the time. He's the GOAT, obviously, when it comes to coaches. Like, he's such a mastermind at manipulating things. Like, for example, Stephon Gilmore, he let him go. They're all right. They just had J.C. Jackson step up. Now J.C. Jackson left. They just signed some other guy, I think, from like the Raiders or something like that. They're just going to do it. Like, he just got it down. Like, I don't know what it is. He's just really good at recruiting, and they got rid of their fullback position. That's not a thing anymore. I think, what's his name? Patrick Card, is that his name? I don't think he's on the team anymore. It's one of those fullbacks. He tweeted it out, but yeah, like they don't have a fullback position anymore. Like they literally changed the offense. Bill Belichick's like, nope. Well, we're doing some different things now, man. I don't know, man. Yeah, that dude he's insane. And I feel like the AFC this year just got a whole lot stronger and better. And we're not even at the fucking draft yet. Not even there. Speaking on people that might return, though, your boy Julian Edelman from the Patriots, he might be coming back to the Packers. Oh, also,
oh my God,
I wanted to show y'all my Matt Ryan. Yeah, buddy.
I'm so happy.
But here, I think there is an article I can share with you guys. Right here. But there's some videos posted. I believe this is Julian Edelman right now. I'll share my screen with you. Boom.
I'm getting all pumped.
Uh-oh.
It's like he never left. His knee looks a lot better.
Yep.
Sometimes like Gronk, sometimes like Edelman, you just need a year off and come back.
He said this is the best way to get some cardio. Rob Gronkowski is like, is he making a comeback? I sure hope so. But I thought that was intriguing. Like, hey, what if he does come back, man? Let me get this off the screen real quick. But yeah, I feel like if he comes back, man, shoot, they're gonna get even better. Gronk's gonna be coming back. I think he's just making Tom Brady wait. But shit, it's like we literally thought that Tampa Bay was about to go into a full rebuild, and then Tom Brady's like, you know what? I'm back. So he's back. Leonard Fournette's back. You got Godwin back. Mike Evans is still on the team. You might get Julian Edelman, and you're getting Gronkowski. It's like, hey, they're gonna make another run at it, man. Fuck it. Fuck a rebuild, dude. They're gonna try it one more time. Like, it's good for the game. I really like it. What are your thoughts on all this?
Edelman doesn't need to be a top 100 reception receiver anymore either, because they have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Those are the main guys. He could be as a complimentary player along with Scotty Miller, along with Gage, and even Gronk. I mean, they don't need to be the number one guys anymore. They don't have to be. But they still have number one guy potential, which is great. So, I mean, Julian Edelman's 35. So I don't want to get too hyped up about that. But
you look good out there.
If you wanted to come back, it truly is the New England Buccaneers. You got your Gronk, you got your Edelman, but then you got two studs that they never had on the Patriots, and Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and even my little boy Scotty Miller.
Yep, him too. If I still pissed at him from last year for fucking that bet I made where he needed what? I think it was like 9 yards or some shit, and he caught a ball for just 8 yards, but technically it was at the 9-yard line, and they're like, no, it's at the 8-yard line, and he didn't even catch a single fucking pass the rest of the game. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, I was so fucking pissed. That shit pissed me off.
God, I would be so mad, dude. I'd be mad. I'm never gonna bet on you again, Scotty.
I'm never fucking betting on him again. Fuck that. I know you like Al Michaels. I like Al Michaels as well. I know Amazon's doing some big things. We're going to have Amazon Prime next year where you can watch the football games on Amazon in 2023. And Al Michaels just signed a 3-year deal with them. So much respect to him. So shout out to him. I'm going to be glad because I just like watching him all the time. He's really good at, what he does. He's been doing it for such a long time. What's your thoughts on that?
So it's just going to be on Amazon Prime, like certain football games?
There's going to be a lot of football games, and I heard a rumor that NFL Sunday Ticket might go to Amazon Prime.
It's not going to go well at first, I don't think, because a lot of people don't have these streaming services.
They might.
Well, they might not either. You got to take it into account. That's not going to be well at first. But eventually, I think the whole NFL and the whole cable thing is going to go to streaming in itself. I think CBS is going to lose rights eventually. Fox, maybe. You never know. It looks like more and more in these next couple of years, they just want to stream games as its own separate entity. So
I feel like a lot of people don't have cable anymore anyways. Like, I don't have cable. I don't pay for it. A lot of my friends, I have like one friend, I think, that pays for cable, and that's Nick. He's always complaining to me. He's like, dude, why don't you just get regular cable? You're always a play behind. I'm like, why the fuck am I going to pay $150 a month to be a play ahead?
100 some days too, you never know.
No, I don't give a fuck. I'd rather be a play behind and save $150 a month.
That's smart money management skills right there.
Some crazy shit happened. Getting away from NFL news, in the Major League Baseball, a story had popped up where David Ortiz was targeted by a Cesar Peralta in 2019 shooting. One of his private investigators said for David Ortiz. I'll add it to my stream and show you. But David Ortiz, this is him.
Big Papi.
Yep. A drug kingpin targeted Boston Red Sox legend David Ortiz when he was shot in June 2019 based on the findings of a private investigator. The Boston Globe's Bob Holler reported that Ed Davis, a former police commissioner in Boston, conducted a 6-month investigation. Davis and that Cesar Peralta came to feel disrespected by Ortiz, prompting him to place a bounty on Ortiz's head and sanction the ragtag hate squad that tried to kill him. Joaquin Perez, I don't know how you say his name. Fuck it, I'm probably botching this really bad. But Perez, an attorney for Peralta, denied the allegation and said he had nothing to do with it. The attempt on Ortiz's life, per Horler. Perez also said Ortiz and Peralta were close friends. with the Hall of Famer denying that was the extent of his report with Peralta. Ortiz was shot once in the back in his native Dominican Republic. After he was transported to a local hospital, doctors removed his gallbladder and part of his intestine. Dominican authorities said at the time that 7 men had been paid to execute the attack. However, the country's attorney general subsequently said that Ortiz was shot because of a case of mistaken identity. Rick Prado, a former CIA official, was part of the investigation into Ortiz's shooting. He alleged to Holler that Dominican officials forwarded the mistaken identity idea as part of a cover-up. We understood that Attorney General was trying to make Peralta's possible involvement go away because if Peralta went down, many people in the government would be going down as well, Prado said. Despite all of this information Davis gleaned from his investigation, Holler wrote that precisely why Peralta may have felt so disrespected that he would order Ortiz slain remains murky. Ortiz eventually recovered from the shooting and threw out the first pitch at Fenway Park ahead of the Red Sox game in September of 2019. So wow, like, damn, like, bro, you're in a whole nother country or your native country and then you got a hit on you, bro. Like, that's pretty scary, man. If it is a case of mistaken identity and the fact that he was shot because of that and then the government tried to cover up, man, I can believe that because that cost a lot of people their jobs. That'd be something that you'd want to. Yeah, that too. I mean, shoot, Peralta would probably kill all of them, honestly, if they had found out or just blabbed on them. It was like, yeah, it was Peralta. Like, boom, like everyone's going down. This would be oh man, it would be fucking crazy. What are your thoughts on that?
It's unfortunate that happened. Could have happened where I was mistaking my identity, but how do you mistakenly kill someone? You know who, if you have everything studied to a T, you know who you want to kill or you don't want to kill. I mean, it's just, if you're an assassin, if you're a drug cartel member, if you're whatever, I mean, you don't make that mistake. You don't make that mistake because you have family on the line, you have money on the line.
A business, supposedly illegal, but business.
If you really call it a business, but a lot of reputations, a lot of lives at stake.
Yeah, and it just that also bodes the question: if he put a target out on David Ortiz, why did he do that? Because obviously, you're paying a shit ton of money, mistaken identity. You know who the fuck David Ortiz is? Like, he's a native in your country. A lot of people love him. He's playing baseball. He's famous. He's on everything. So it's like, I don't know how it's hard to mistake his identity. I would know immediately who the fuck oh, what up, David Ortiz? It's not one of those like, oh, is this him? No, like, I'm right there with you, man. I don't feel like it was a case of mistaken identity. I think it was intentional. And my question is, why? Like, why was he targeted? That's my question. I want to know. I feel like there should be a deeper investigation than that, but I don't think it'll ever come to fruition. I mean, he's a drug kingpin, so yeah. But other than that, man, that's all I got for today's show. I appreciate everybody listening. Don't forget to subscribe right below, right down there, guys. And be sure to hit that like button. Also, I don't know. I guess I could tell everybody we have some things in the works where me and Danny might be, working with someone and teaming up with them. Another individual that reached out to us where we can probably improve the show, as far as equipment goes, better visuals, better video, better audio, maybe in person, things like that. But it's definitely going to be a lot better. This person has a lot they want to bring to the table, and we're going to go check it out, see how it is, and we'll go from there. You got anything else you want to add, Danny?
I thank you all for listening today. It was a pleasure. We're just going to keep on ascending and getting better. I mean, that's what it's all about, and that's all I would like to add. So.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate everybody listening. You guys leave any comments below if you have anything to say. If you guys have any suggestions or any comment or any like feedback or any topics you guys would like us to talk about other than sports or in other sports, we can definitely do the research, look it up, and talk about it on our show. That goes for movies, Marvel, DC, superheroes, anything like that, any other type of entertainment, whether it goes music. If anyone ever wants to be on the show, hit up me and Danny. We can set you up an interview, and you can come on the show. Maybe talk about, let's say, if we are talking about music, you can put your input on the music. You know, if you're really educated in that subject, or you know, in the entertainment field. We have another buddy of ours. I'm not going to talk about him yet. He asked me not to, so I'm going to respect that. But I was working on something with him, and we'll announce him on the next show and whatnot. But he's doing some big things too as well. So, but yeah, we appreciate everyone listening, and you guys have a good day.
Boom.